I wanted to say that Dan and I have been good friends. We served on the CURB board, Community Economic Revitalization Board together. He helps all BIPOC people. I'm just being his partner, Justin. But we need to do a better job of building alternative, sustainable housing. Again, outside of the box. Don't look at the traditional housing models. And that's what these gentlemen are bringing to the table. They're pretty smart businessmen, so we're glad they're here. So introduce yourselves and tell just a little bit about what you guys do. Thank you, Justin. I'm going to start with Dan because he's the lead here.
Not used to being the lead when I have such a great leader here. And so first I want to give praise to the most beautiful Andrea Alexander, who put this event on. Quick introduction, she did so good, so I've got goosebumps, so I can't say too much or I'll blush. Again, my name is Daniel Seydel. I run the Entrepreneurial Institute of Washington. I also am one of the partners within Modern Many Homes. And over my life, which is a half a century, I know I don't look as handsome and young as this guy behind me, but I'm going to do my best. In the last 30 years, my focus has really been to empower business owners of color. My mother is African American, so that is a community that I connect with, the community that I associate with, and the community that I feel most connected with. However, in doing so, in all the programs and business entrepreneurial efforts that I've developed over the years, they've always been really focused on helping all of us. And I feel when we're developing economic development strategies, you must think about the most disenfranchised individuals and develop strategies that can help them, because everyone can benefit. And so my focus has really been lifting the sea level for all of us. And I am feeling very blessed to be a part of this event. I am actually a Mason County resident. I live in Shelton, Washington, and feel like the least we can do is to be able to bring the resources, relationships, best practices, and lessons learned that we have learned over our experiences. And so over the years, I've been involved in about $3.5 billion worth of projects where government has put dollars into buildings that are supposed to serve us. My focus now is to make sure that what we're building is really benefiting us. And so I really want to start here where we can benefit the most. And the strategies and innovative ideas that Andrea has brought can bring and enrich lives both on the reservation and off the reservation. And we need to be able to be successful in both areas. I've been blessed to also be associated with some very successful people in my life. And this handsome gentleman behind me is not only one of the most successful CEOs in multifamily construction, but he is an innovator who has understood that in order to benefit and create value for people like us, people that may not have a couple $1 million in net worth, or an uncle named Bob who can, donate or put some money into your family. He is someone who's very innovative, entrepreneurial, and very focused on helping people like us lift up. And so, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Justin Stewart with Synergy Inc. and Synergy Modular Construction.
Thank you. Well, with all that, really, I'm just a kid that started in construction when I was like 8, which is a true story. My parents started a construction company when I was 8, and then I went to work for Gary Merlino Construction, W-2 time card by the time I was 12. So, it doesn't, I don't know if it's all that much of a build-up, but I've just been in construction for a really, really long time. Joined the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers before college, because I wanted to work on Safeco Field and installing televisions and everything you could do in there. And I've just been in the industry a really long time, and I had grand visions of going off and developing and doing all kinds of things. And after college, and I'll skip over a lot of things there, but after college I was going to open up a development firm up here in the Northwest, an arm of a development firm. And I was up here, and my partners and my parents' company had asked me to come in and help. I said, well, it's not really what I'm doing, but sure, I'll come in and I'll talk to you guys. I wasn't really very enthusiastic, wasn't really all that excited about it. My parents, being perhaps a little wiser, invited me to a ribbon cutting ceremony for a project that they had just finished, and it was a project for Catholic Housing Services. And one of the new residents stood up and spoke, and I'm trying to keep this together, but she came up and told stories about our superintendent, to just take her into the construction site and show her her new home all through construction. He would just stay late to make sure that she could see the new place. And she stood up there and said, with her daughter by her side, that this was the first time in her life that she'd ever been able to look at her daughter and say that she was proud of the decisions she had made. I just, okay, pivot. This is what I'm doing now. And ever since, my mission has been to solve the affordable housing crisis. And so construction is a stepping stone to it. It's certainly not an end-all be-all, and it's never going to be the end-all be-all. And I knew that, but I also knew that you couldn't do it without focusing on innovation and excellence. So that's where we led into. Well, that then went down the path, and so I can fast forward, that was 20 years ago. Along the way, the road got really, really challenging with rising labor costs, rising material costs, material shortages, labor shortages, you name it. And so that just pushed us in the innovation track. And it pushed us in the innovation track because we can no longer predictably look at our partners and be able to deliver housing that people needed predictably. We couldn't, when they're going in for a housing application or going for funding, be able to predictably tell them how much it was going to cost at the end. And so back in 2015, I went on just a personal mission to go figure out a solution to that, and spent about 2 years and considerable resources researching every different innovative path in housing that you could find. Coming out of that, we pioneered a lot of the offsite and modular construction techniques that are successful today. Back then, that industry was there, but it was really broken. And we went into it just eyes wide open, talking to anybody and everybody who would take a meeting and going through every single project that was out there, and came out of that and now can predictably look at a piece of property and say, this is what you can build, this is how much it'll cost, and this is when it will be done. And that was step one, is bringing predictability back to the process. And now we've been able to then take costs and continue bringing them down through further innovation. But it's all to the end goal of solving the affordable housing crisis, which goes much bigger than that. It takes an entire village. It takes every different discipline coming together with that common purpose of knowing that this has to get to the end user in mind, where most housing right now is developed with the developer and the equity in mind, and the people living there are part of the product. And that is the cold hard truth with how most housing is developed. And if you flip that on its head and you make the reason we're building it is for the people that live there, it changes every decision made along the way. What's the right piece of property? What's the right building? How to design those units? How to design those floor plans? How are people going to live there? You grow a family there, use that property. And once you look at it from that perspective, now you can get companies competing to deliver higher quality housing at a lower cost. That truly moves the needle back in the other direction. So that is my personal mission, and that's the mission we're on. We build everywhere, Texas, Colorado, West. I'm born and raised, obviously, up in the Seattle area. Live down in Arizona now for travel purposes because we're all over the place. Did fly in today, and it's beautiful up here today. Nice work.
Stay till Monday.
We're doing a modular setting event, so we're doing 100 units up in Shoreline, and so it's a 2-level podium, crane set units like Legos, and very weather dependent. And we're starting that in about 2 weeks. So it'll be a great showcase of how you can protect these units even in inclement weather. But yeah, that we will have a modular event up there if anybody's interested. Probably December 19th. We'll be about a week into setting units, and we'll have tents out there. And if anybody wants to come, just let me know.
Make sure you let. I want to go.
Okay, yeah, it's right up the shoreline, so it's kind of a drive, but yeah.
I got a daughter up there. No problem.
Perfect. Just let me know. But yeah, that's me. That's my story, and I'm very excited and humbled to be here. So I'm very excited with all of the work that you guys are doing, and just I see so much potential. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Seydel, Stewart, such an honor to have your innovation style in the house, and that's what we look forward to developing these alternative models. I think that if we can get a couple models going, then we can replicate it across Indian country, which would be really fun, don't you think?